Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do your July the 3rd Spiritual Principle Day in a meditation. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Looking forward to hearing from you. Or you can leave a comment down below, and as soon as I see your comment, I will respond, I promise. Okay, the title of this meditation for today, trying to make sure my throat is going to allow me to talk to you. Okay, the title of this meditation, Empathy, Connection, and Identification. Empathy is the ability to connect with others at the level of the heart and the spirit. Living Clean, Chapter 5, Friendship. Many of us have had the experience of hearing someone else tell our story. We love it when we recognize ourselves in the details of how another member went about getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. Relating to the specifics is far from typical. However, so how is it that we identify with others' experience when really it's not our own? Identification doesn't require that we come from the same place. After all, hitting rock bottom often has to do with our circumstances. Our willingness to give recovery a try can emerge in wildly different contexts. One member shared, by outward appearances, I had it all. And yet I felt isolated and alone, filled with fear, resentment, and regret. Another recalled, the source of my desperation wasn't living on the streets. It came from that hollow ache of hopelessness, shame, and sadness deep inside me. Many of us will relate to both stories and so many more because they experience the emotional state that precedes the gift of desperation. We share a few telling particulars in our stories because it keeps us in touch with where we came from and what awaits us should we return to using. We revisit that desperation and touch base with our first step. And that's where we connect too. Empathy has the power to bind us together regardless of our stories. One member shared, the disease will tell me, you're not like these people, but my spirit can't help but connect when I focus on the feelings. As we stay clean and experience the 12 steps, our ability to connect with heart and spirit expands. Beyond the using stories that qualify us as drug addicts, we share a common path, a spiritual program in which we learn to practice living principle-centered lives. Recovery gives us access to the range of emotions we'll need to respond to life's ups and downs. When NA groups make it safe for intimate sharing, we can summon the courage to share our feelings, good, bad, and ugly, and make room for empathy to emerge. I will listen empathetically, connecting to others with my heart and my spirit. I will disclose more about my emotional life so that others might connect with me. Empathy, connection, and identification. Let's take a moment of silence before we unpack this. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful meditation. Empathy is the ability to connect with others at the level of the heart and spirit. And so what we have here is these two polar opposites. We come into the meeting, they're not like me. I don't, they don't even know who I am. They might have their own story, the thing that brought them here, their own bottom. But I guarantee you that what they're talking about right now is not my story. Okay, that's on a very superficial level. We all have had that thought of comparing ourselves to others and looking at the differences, in other words, rather than the similarities. But this is a spiritual program. And because it's a spiritual program, after we put the spirit of addiction down, right? The spirit of what do they call it? Um, I'm looking for the Greek word, right? Um, I want to say it's pharmakia, right? Once we put that spirit of drugs down, using drugs, right? Because the liquor, all of the substance, I don't even have to just say liquor, right? All of the substances that we might use recreational to get our high, they all have an energy that comes with them. You know, if I'm being honest, I ate some shrimp pasta and I felt like it had an energy that came with it. It was so good. I was happy as a lark at Olive Garden. I was just so happy. And I couldn't even finish a third of it. And I was really upset by that because I couldn't refrigerate it, which meant that I couldn't have it as a leftover. And I was really sad about that, right? So there's an energy almost with everything that we partake of, if we're being honest. Once we put that energy and we turn our backs on it and we say, you know what? I don't care what I go through. I am not going to use no matter what. I'm done with that because every time I trust this drug, every time I get into um I don't say in bed with it, but you know what I'm saying. Anytime I partner with getting high, anytime I do any of that, it's always something else. It's never just a hit and quit. It's always something else. It's always another bottom. And some of them bottoms are actually sinkholes. And it's always something. It's always a jail setting. It's always something else that comes with that lifestyle. The moment you stop putting that substance in your system, even though you go through withdrawals, at some point in time, the real you is going to start to show up. I mean, the one that was there before you started getting high is starting to see the light of day and have a yearning and a desire to do more of the positive things, such as not getting high. And it becomes stronger and stronger with time. And that that yearns for the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. It yearns to sit and listen to people share their experience, strength, and hope, even though on a superficial level, we can say, I never did that. Okay. But this recovering spirit in you now is all about wanting to recover. It's all about wanting to be restored. It's all about wanting to hear as many experience, strengths, and hopes of other recovering addicts as possible so that it is fouled in that brain of ours that has like an endless space to hold information. So that when we actually do approach life in some situation, that we don't have an experience of staying clean through, like losing a husband or a wife in death or a divorce, or having one of your children shot and killed in the streets and having to make up your mind that not only are you going to stay clean, you're going to do the funeral, you're going to show up and get through this clean. We have something to pull on and say, oh, yeah, I remember when Mighty Stream shared about that. I remember that. I remember when so and so shared about. I remember Maybe I don't remember the name, but I remember there was an addict at a meeting and they were talking about they were in town for their mother's funeral and they had been at bitter odds with her because of their using, and that they were just so grateful that she was able to see them get clean and live a productive life. But they hadn't talked to her in a month or so, and that guilt was really killing them, and they needed to stay clean through the service. I remember that, and I remember a couple addicts offering to just show up and be their right side and their left side and show up to a service that of a person they knew nothing about. But they were very invested in that addict being able to carry out their living amends to their mother, even though she was now dead. And you begin to pull on the experience. Never downgrade someone sharing their experience, strength, and hope, because you never know when you're going to need that information. And through being able to share our feelings, you know what? Others can connect to it. Even people that never come up to you and say, "Thank you so much for sharing that. That really helped me." That gets filed. Everyone that heard your voice and that was really listening, that gets filed away for a use at a later date. And we are connected and we can identify. But it takes vulnerability. And today I want to challenge you to be the first one to do that. My name is Maddie Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I know today is going to be a wonderful day for you. Be safe, as many of you in the States are going into your July 4th Independence Day celebrations. Be safe. Remember, not everyone is like us. Some people can take 1, 2, 3 and quit. But we have the disease of addiction from which we are in active recovery, and we don't use no matter what. And if we do use, we make it back to the rooms as quickly as possible. If we can, when we can, we come back as quickly as possible, because tomorrow is not granted to anyone. And that next hit could easily be your last one. I'm going to have a beautiful day. I already am. I've spent it with some of my favorite people in the whole world. And I hope that you too will commit to having a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you soon.